So I want to make a video on how to craft for profit. This is going to involve a lot of work, but it's very low risk and it's about 20, 30, maybe 40 divines per hour. This is not clickbait. Maybe if you get unlucky and you fail 3 times in a row, you're going to lose money. But if you craft on a large scale, on average, you're going to make at least 20 divines an hour. If you do this very efficiently, you can even expect 30 to 40 divines per hour. As you can see right here, it involves crafting amulets that have +2 with a fracture. So if any of you attempted this craft in the past, you know how painful this is. This crafting, it's not chill crafting session. It's going to be very painful and it's going to involve a lot of work. Now let's talk some numbers to show, to give you an example. As I said, it's about 20-30 divines per hour, but let's just give you some examples and show you the market. I don't have results because I didn't attempt this craft because I know it's painful, but this is how you do it. And I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying 20-30 divines an hour. Now, you have here these amulets. The cheapest one would be 15 divines. The reason why it's cheap, 15 divines, is because it has strength and intelligence base. But if you go the ones that have dexterity, the cheapest would be 17 divines, and then 18, 19. So the bases with dexterity sell for about 20 divines each. Um, but for the sake of this video and to just not give you too high hopes, just I'm just going to say that every amulet you're crafting this way will sell for 16 divines, although realistically speaking, they will probably sell for about 20 divines each. But for the sake of the calculations and of this video, I'm going to just say each successful craft is going to give you 16 divines in return. 16 divines. Now, let's go over how expensive is a base. Ideally, you would not want a base that has intelligence and strength and intelligence. You'd want these bases right here. So these bases cost about 3 to 4 divines. You can also have an active life search, but you can also go for the bases with intelligence, strength and intelligence, and you can see that these are much cheaper, but at the same time they sell for much less. If you don't feel like paying 4 divines for a base, you can just buy one of these. You definitely should have an active life search. By activating like this, you activate the life search, so that you, whenever a base with that cost um, 2, 3 divines, 1 divine that has dexterity appears, you just snipe it off the market. But now let's run the calculations. So basically, to hit that modifier, let's show you um, with alterations. It says that it's about 1800s, but this also includes using orb of augmentation. Uh, I would just put 3000 alterations for one success. Sometimes you're going to get lucky, sometimes you're going to get unlucky. Let's just say that the price for a base is going to be 4 divines, 4 divines for the base. The alteration price 3600 per 1 divine. So let's just put another divine for this base for the alterations. At this point, it would cost you 1 sacred crystallized life force, it would cost you 1 exalted orb, 1 regal, and maybe the 1 divine craft. So let's just put another 3.6 divines. So maximum it should cost you 8.6 divines per 1 attempt, and it's a 75% success rate. That means if you're making 4 crafts, 3 should be successful. So times 4, it would cost you 34 divines, but one fails. When one fails, you still have the base, which is 4 divines, minus 4, and the other 3, 16 times 3, minus 30.4. So it says that it would be about 17.6 divines in 1 hour. But as I said, some of these bases will be even cheaper. Sometimes you're not going to pay the one divine crafted from the bench. Sometimes you're going to get the the modifier with far less alterations than 3600. Uh, and also you can actually craft more than four, you can have more than 4 attempts per hour if you do this very efficiently. So what I'm going to show you how exactly, because if any of you tried to craft this amulet in the past, you know that this is very painful. But I will show you how to do it in bulk, because in bulk it's different. In bulk you can actually, it's very easy to get a +1. So let's first show you the alterations, how you'd craft usually. Now I don't have the amulets, but what I can do, I can use a map. So let's grab a few maps. So usually um, when you're crafting only one amulet, like for example, when I league started and I tried to get this, because I was not crafting in bulk, I just crafted the amulet for myself. It took me, and also I was very unlucky. It took me about 6,000 alterations to hit the mod. It took me about 2 hours to get it, because what usually happens, you type the modifier that you want. So for example, in our case would be all skill for this amulet, and you'd spam alterations like this so that you have time to react, so that you don't roll over the modifier. But when you craft in bulk, things change, and I'm going to show you how. Uh, if you craft 20 to 30 of these amulets, you can also use Orb of Augmentation, but if you only have 5, 4, 6, 7 of these amulets, um, you only spam alterations. You don't have to have your full inventory full of alterations. Just grab a few, uh, hold down shift, so you right click and hold down, and when the alterations in your inventory, let's just put them. So when your alteration, when the alterations in your inventory will be depleted, it will automatically take from your stash. So obviously on the maps I cannot roll all skills, but I can type reflect mana like this, and let's just change it, and let's show you how you would actually roll the. Just imagine that these maps are amulets. Oh, there you go. You see? So I just got one amulet. Now I would move this right here. Once again, I have only one alteration in my inventory. There you go. Once again, another one. So this is how you make sure that you don't roll over the +1, and you can spam alterations quite easily. You can definitely spam at least 5 alterations per second, but when you're normally crafting and you have only one item, like for example my amulet at league start, I could not just do this method, so I had to do it slow. I had to be a turtle and just spam one alterations, make sure that I have time to react so that I don't roll over the modifier. So this is why you can make even more than 4 attempts per hour um, at this craft, and this is why this craft is so profitable, because people don't want to do it because it's painful. If you're doing only one amulet or two amulets, it's very painful. But if you have 5, 10, 15 bases, you can easily burn through 20,000 alterations in 1 hour, even more than 20,000. But for the sake of this video, let's just say that you uh, 17.6 times divided by 4. So per one attempt you would make 4.4 divines. 5 times 6. So you would make 6 attempts per hour, but also you have to spend a few minutes to make the trades, to buy the bases and to buy the seeds, buy the sacred crystallized life force. So let's just say that you make 5 attempts per hour, 5 times 4.4. So on average, you would make about 22 divines an hour, give or take. As I said, if you have even more bases and you're more efficient with the alteration spamming, you can definitely make 30 divines in 1 hour, and this is very guaranteed. These types of amulets serve very fast. Um, in maximum 1 day, you should expect to sell all of them. But it's, once again, it's a lot of work. Now let's show you the crafting process. First of all, very important, if you don't use my filter, my trade search, make sure that this is item level 75, uh, non-mirrored, non-corrupted when you buy the base. You buy the base with a fracture, then you go to the emulator. The best base would be the one with dexterity and intelligence to buy. The second base would be the Jade with the dexterity, because these amulets are crafted for Righteous Fire players, and they need intelligence and dexterity, but dexterity is the modifier that they need most. So let's just say your item looks like this, has damage over time multiplier, has +1 all. At this point, you'd normally your item it's blue, and you'd use a regular orb, but I'm just going to use an exalt. So whatever modifier it gives you, if it gives you a prefix at this point, you go to the bench, you go and craft any prefix, it doesn't matter which one, and then you would exalt, so that you have one crafted prefix and one empty suffix, and you would go to the bench and you would craft cannot roll attacks like this. You pay 1 UN, then you would go, you use harvest at remove fire. It's guaranteed to give you +1 fire, but it's only 75% chance to give you +2. Sometimes it will remove the +1 and there's nothing you can do, just roll over it, do it once again. This is one scenario. Another scenario, when you wriggle, it gives you a suffix like this, and when you exalt, it gives you once again a suffix. So if your item looks like this, it has 2 suffixes and 2 empty prefixes, you would go to the benchcraft and you would craft fire damage to attacks. You skip the 1 divine craft, and then you would use harvest at remove fire. This was a good example because it removed the +1. As I said, 25% chance to remove the +1 all, and 75% chance of success. Unlucky once again. It can happen, but if you do it on a large scale, it's a 75% chance of success. So this is how you craft this amulet at this point. Because this mod right here is fractured, you could, if you have an empty prefix, or if you have a very good prefix, for example, it gives you tier 1 life, or maximum energy shield 40%, 40 flat, or 20 increased percent. You could go to the benchcraft. You can use, if you want, only if you want, prefixes cannot be changed, and throw a veiled chaos orb. There's a chance that it destroys the item, but it's very unlikely. Sometimes it can give you a prefix, and if it gives you a prefix like this, um, it's very high chance. I'm not sure what the chance is, but it's about 60 to 70% chance to give you either maximum life 60 or increased area damage, increased area of effect, which both are desired by Righteous Fire players. So you take either one, uh, and then at this point, if you have two empty suffixes, you can use an exalt, and just the other one you craft it. Make sure you don't have your item looking like this. Make sure you have an empty suffix in case that person wants to buy the amulet and craft it even further. So at this point you just craft maybe in strength and dexterity, or maybe intelligence or dexterity, or you craft a resistance. The idea is to leave the item with an empty suffix or a crafted suffix in case that person wants to craft it even further. So this is the crafting process. It's very straightforward. From time to time, if you want, only if you want, you can use prefixes cannot be changed and failed chaos orb, but it's not required. Usually when you use that prefixes cannot be changed, you sell the amulet for about 20 something divines, because most of the time you're going to craft a very good amulet. Sometimes you're going to break the amulet and you're just going to waste 2 divines, but most of the time you're just going to make the amulet much better. You can definitely skip it, but at least you should be making about 20 divines an hour. 16, 17, 20, but it's not unrealistic to say that you can make 30, maybe 35 divines an hour with this strategy, and um, it's highly unlikely that people will crash the market on these amulets. Let's just put it that way. It's very I'm very confident that this strategy is going to work and it's going to be very profitable for many people, but only if you start with about 20, 30, 40 divines to buy the bases so that you can do the alteration spamming in an efficient manner.